Here's the reality. Stubborn kids are tough to parent. Period. End of story. Yet sadly, many of their moms are plagued by needless mom guilt when their patience vanishes. Poof. That's why I'm so glad you're here, because I'm going to share 3 questions to ask that can help eradicate mom guilt. The best part is that it'll also help you bring your mommy A-game to the table. So if you've got a firecracker of a spirited child living under your roof who digs their heels in or questions everything you say, like the kid who completely ignores the winter boots you put out, but instead wears those sandals in the snow, or the one who looks you dead in the eye when you've asked them to stop jumping on the couch only to jump higher, you'll want to stay tuned. Hey there, I'm Kelly Nault from joyfullyparenting.com, and the question of whether or not you should feel mom guilt when you don't like your stubborn child is tricky, particularly because it rubs up against the myth that mom guilt means we're more loving moms, really. And while most of us intellectually know this is hogwash, many of us still buy into it. I know I did. How about you? By the way, if you find value in this video, I humbly ask you to hit that like button. It really does mean the world to me. And pass it on to your friends. So it was my good friend Marnie, a self-professed type A gal whose immaculate house looks a little like an art gallery, who first inspired me to shift my mom guilt. She's also the one who knows way too many embarrassing things about me, like the Halloween in university when I dressed up as a birthday present and it almost fell off. But I digress. So one Tuesday morning, when we both had babes in arms, she shared that she had just left her mother an SOS message. Basically, she stated that if she didn't get a mom break ASAP, her mom's precious grandkids might not survive until the end of day. Although she laughed, she was serious about needing that mom break. What struck me, however, was she felt no pangs of mom guilt. Zilch. She didn't even flinch when admitting she really didn't like her son that day. By the way, she really is one of the most fab moms I know who truly adores her kiddos. Now me? I'd have broken out in hives from the stress of admitting I didn't feel love for my kid 24/7. Can you say recovering people pleaser, boys and girls? Instead, Marnie shared what all normal moms feel, confidently asked for help, but more miraculously still graciously accepted help. So much healthier, right? Unlike my girlfriend, I, that recovering people pleaser, felt mom guilt just fantasizing about time off. You know, an uninterrupted shower, a leisurely morning tea, or sleeping past 7. The fact is, mom guilt is toxic. It also doesn't look good on any of us moms. The harsh truth is this. Mom guilt is at best good intentions we do little about, and at worst, it's good intentions we don't really have. So did that last statement feel like ripping off a Band-Aid too fast? Make sure you're with me, because if you've got a habit of feeling mom guilt, it's important this really lands. So again, mom guilt is at best good intentions we do little about, and at worst, good intentions we don't really have. Turns out, exercising mom guilt is so critical to our effectiveness as a happy and healthy mom that this topic lives within the foundational first step of my Smart Mom path called LOVE, boundaries. It's in this module where we go head-to-head with mom guilt using 3 guilt-busting questions. Now I want to share these with you now. The first guilt-busting question is, what's my intention? You'll have one, you always do. This sheds light into what's going on below the surface. Second, what do I want my intention to be? Now this question invites us to take the high road by focusing on what'll bring out everyone's best so we don't get stuck in our unproductive parenting triggers. Finally ask, what positive step can I take towards making my intention a reality? Here's an example. Before I was a mom, I was a full-time live-in caregiver for 2 very strong-willed and extremely stubborn brothers, both blind from birth. I was kind of like a modern-day Anne Sullivan. Seriously, when they weren't bouncing off the walls, they were literally pounding on them. Why, I even overheard one of their teachers refer to them when speaking with another colleague as hell on canes. I kid you not. It was that extreme. Anyhow, After a morning of nagging about keeping Cheerios in their mouth and not spitting them at each other, among other inspiring topics, my patience was MIA. And when dropping the kids off at school, I literally ran for the car like a prisoner bolting for freedom. It had been a doozy of a morning, of a week actually. I was exhausted to the bone. I didn't want to be around them, and my chronic frustration was over the top. So after using the guilt-busting questions, I realized my intention in nagging so much was to gain control. Something I had very little of. What I wanted my intention to be, though, I realized was peace. So I decided my positive parenting step was to take the 8-year-old who'd recently adopted an Eeyore-like attitude to everything on a special after-school date. Well, this step didn't magically eliminate his stubborn child issues, and believe you me, he had these in spades. It did eliminate the guilt I felt for disliking him so much. More importantly, it began to melt the ice of tension between us, and it was the fresh start we both needed. Now, I'm curious, how's it going with your stubborn child? What triggers you most? I'd love to read your comments so I can better help my community of parents. How about mom guilt? Do you feel it? How often? And finally, how do you handle it? By the way, sometimes our guilt is magnified by our unique mom style. If you don't yet know your mom type, I invite you to take my free What's Your Mom Type quiz found on joyfullyparenting.com. It reveals your secret alter ego. I also invite you to connect with me by subscribing to my YouTube channel or Facebook. I hope to see you really, really soon.